Hi, it's Rich here and welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to focus on a video on the DT4R thermostat. So the DT4R thermostat replaced the T87RF and the DTS92E. So these were the older models. This was the original. And then this came out, didn't replace it, but was an alternative model to the DTS92E. And now Resideo have both discontinued those, and we now have the DT4R in their places. Okay, so those thermostats were both wireless thermostats. This is now the latest thermostat which replaces those models. Okay, so you can buy this thermostat with this relay, or you can buy it off our website, thesmartthermostatshop.co.uk, with this relay. Okay, it doesn't matter which relay you get it with. The difference is that this relay is the equivalent to a BDR91 and is a Ramesses 2 product, where these are a Ramesses 3 relay, and they work with Ramesses 3 thermostats. Okay. So you can't integrate this relay box here with the EvaHome product. So if you're using EvaHome, you will need to use this relay box. Okay. So like I said, we sell these with both. So we sell this on we sell this on pirateheatandsupplies.com as this and this pack, and we sell this pack and this pack on the smartthermostatshop.co.uk. I will put the links in the video below afterwards. So let's give you a little overview of the thermostat, because a lot of people have said, well, that's your video before, which we did, is no good because it doesn't give you any detailed information about the thermostat. Okay, so this thermostat is a non-programmable thermostat. It is just a thermostat. Okay, so like these guys before, these were just a thermostat. They literally just allowed you to change the thermostat. You would turn them up and down, set them to what you wanted them to, and then they would then work in conjunction with a programmer and the programmer would schedule the times, and these would be the thermostat demands. Okay, so these are no more complicated than these were, and they're no more advanced than these were either. They look advanced and they look like they should be programmable, but they're not. They're just a normal thermostat, just like this. Okay, so you don't have a display screen on it, so when it sits on your wall, it just sits there in mute mode. It's still working, it's still sensing the temperature, it's still enabling the relay boxes on and off, but this thermostat is just in mute mode. Okay, to see the fascia or see the display, you have to press the button once, and then you can see the actual temperature that's in the room. If you press the display and then press the plus button once, you'll see the actual set temperature. So this is the temperature that you've set your room temperature to be. Okay, so if you set it to like 21 degrees, for instance, it will then set that temperature into the thermostat, and then it will go back to display what the actual temperature is in the room. Okay, that's all that really does. Okay, so when you're going through this, that is really all this button does. Okay, until you set the features up. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to pair this thermostat into this relay box. So currently this thermostat and this relay box are not paired. Okay, so what I'm going to do quickly, I'm going to unpair this relay box from the thermostat. Okay, so I'm just going to do that by pressing and holding the reset button. You'll see the yellow comes up like that. Once you've seen the yellow flash up like that, this relay box is reset. Okay, put that to one side at the moment. This relay box, to reset this one, you've got a button on the front. What we have to do, we have to press and hold the button, and we have to hold the button for 15 seconds. Okay, so it's about 15 seconds, but if you count to 20, once you start pressing it, you'll be able to reset it. Either way, you get this fast flash to start with, which happens about the 5-second mark, and then you'll get this fast flash happen about the 15-second mark. Once you've got to the 15-second mark, you can then let go of the button. Okay, so this relay now, as you can see, has been reset. We have now got the fast flash. Okay, on the thermostat, to reset the thermostat, what we do, all you have to do is press and hold the button. So if you press and hold the button like so, your first menu you get to is parameter. If we just cycle through the menu, this is the RF menu. That's your brightness menu. That's the version of this thermostat. and then you've got N to exit the menu, okay? And you can just keep going round, okay? Like so. The one we were interested in is the RF menu. So we're gonna go to the RF menu, press the button. Then first one is test. The second one might not come up, depends if it's already bound or not. If it is already bound, you're gonna see clear. If it's not bound, you're gonna see BO, okay? And I'll show you that in a minute. And then you're gonna see end, okay? So test, so this one's currently bound, so all we're seeing is test, clear, and end, okay? So we're gonna clear it, so then it's gonna flash, press the button, it's gonna flash 1, and then it's gonna go back to the test menu. Once we've done that, you can then see you've got BO, you've got CO, you've got HBO, and then you've got end, okay? When you're pairing to a relay box like this or this, we actually need the thermostat to say BO, okay? So to pair it, what you need to do is you need to put the relay box into pairing mode. So this is in clearing mode at the moment. So what we need to do is press and hold the button for 5 seconds until you get the slow flash, which you'll see now. That's the slow flash, let go. And then on the relay, on the thermostat, once you've done that on the relay, if it turns off like that, you just have to press and hold the button again, go plus into the RF menu by pressing the button, go back across to BO. And then what I suggest you do is move this will be attached to your wall, move your thermostat, well, you know, a good meter or 2 away, press the button, you'll see 1 flash like this when it's been successful. And on the relay box, you'll see all the lights turn off like so. And that's how easy it is to pair, okay? And then what we can do then is you can either go into test like this, and it will tell you that it's got signal strength 5 between this thermostat and the relay box, okay? Or you can manually test it. So if you go over to end, exit the menu, press the plus button until you get it up to like 25 to 30 degrees, something like that. Let this turn off. And then what you should see is a green light come up on the relay box like that, okay? Same again on the thermostat. If we press the button again, press the minus button this time, and we're gonna minus it all the way down to about 15 degrees. It's about 21 degrees in this room at the moment. So if we put it to 15, which is about 6 degrees less than the actual temperature, it should turn the relay box off, okay? So it does that. And then what you should see is the relay box shut off, like so. Okay, and that just proves it beyond any doubt that it's bound to the relay box, okay, all right? So once you've done that, I had a lot of questions about the parameters inside here. So if you press and hold the button, the first menu you get to is parameters, okay? So if you press the middle button again, so the first one you've got is what we call heating and cooling mode, okay? So if you press the button on this, out the box, it's in heating mode only, okay? But we can change this to cooling mode only, or we can have it heating and cooling. If you enable heating and cooling, that changes the first menu, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you it in heating and cooling mode. So I'm gonna put it into heating and cooling mode. The second one is the minimum on time. So OT means minimum on time, okay? So for a gas boiler, you want your minimum on time for about 1 minute. If it's an oil boiler, you want the minimum on time for about 5 minutes. And if it's like a heat pump, you want that on for really like 10 minutes at least for a heat pump. I mean, this will do like 30 minutes, okay? So, but for a heat pump, you want it about 10 minutes. Oil boiler, 5 minutes. Gas boiler, you want it about 1 minute, okay? That's where you need to set that to. So we're gonna set it up like a gas boiler. Minimum off time. So again, if it's a gas boiler, you don't really need a minimum off time with a gas boiler, but you can, okay? If you wanted it to run like 5 minutes or so to dissipate the heat out the heat exchanger, you can set this, okay? Where it does come important is on a heat pump, okay? Because you don't want a heat pump turning back on too quickly, okay? I'm just gonna have to go back in that parameter menu because I was a bit slow, okay? So minimum off time, you want that set on a heat pump for maybe 5 minutes or even 10 minutes off time. So once it's turned off, the heat pump's actually reached temperature and turned off, you want that to stay off for a good duration before that heat pump comes back on, okay? Minimum sort of 5 minutes, I would think, with a heat pump. But yeah, maybe 10 minutes off time. You'll have to see how it goes. But like I said, these are built for heat pumps. So you get this option here. Okay, the next one is your cycle rate, which is quite important. So 6 cycles per hour is what we generally know gas boilers to be set to, and this should be set to 6 for a gas boiler. If it's an all boiler, you want to set that to 3 cycles per hour. If it's a heat pump, we probably only want to do 1 or 2 cycles an hour. So try setting it on 1 and see how you get on, okay? But if you're doing a heat pump, wants to be set on about 1 cycle an hour, okay? Oh, sorry, we're setting this up for a gas boiler at the moment. So we'll do 6 cycles an hour for a gas boiler. And then this is the thermostat offset. Okay, so if you find you've put this in a location and say it's reading 18 degrees, but the actual temperature is like 17, you can actually offset this thermostat. Okay, so you can like tell it, I want to offset it, I want to plus it or minus offset it. Okay, so you can do that here. This one is the upper limit you can actually set the thermostat to. So 35 out the box, but say you didn't want to set, or you didn't want to allow someone to have the ability to turn it any higher than say 21, you could set this down to like 21 degrees or 22 degrees or something like that. And then physically you can't set this thermostat higher than this point, okay? So it's great for like tenanted properties, stuff like that, okay? But 35 is the standard. Lower limit, again, if you don't want your house going any lower than say 10 degrees, you can't, if you set this, then you won't be able to get it any lower than 10, but you can like turn this down to 5 degrees, which is like frost protection, okay? So you could then set this thermostat down to 5, but I would recommend you set this to 10, so no one can set the thermostat in the house lower than 10 degrees, okay? Then we've got the, if you've enabled cooling, okay, then you've got the upper limit for cooling, okay, which is set to 40, and then you've got your lower limit for cooling, okay, which is set for 10. Okay. Then you've got your eco offset. Okay, so this is your eco mode offset. So if you've got eco mode enabled, then you can actually set when you enable eco mode. What that means is it will either you can actually set this to plus these days, so you can actually act as a boost. So if you put eco mode on, you can like have a boost. But eco mode used to mean that when you enabled eco mode, that you'd have like a 3 degree differential. So say you set it to 21 and you enabled eco mode, that would then set it to 19 degrees. On 3 degrees, that would set it to like 18 degrees. So on 2 degrees, that would set it to like, if it's 21, that'll set it down to 19. So depends where you want to set this to. You can adjust it yourself. You can even have it as a boost. So say you had it on 21 and you put eco mode on, it sounds weird. It should be boost mode really, eco boost, shouldn't it really? But if you put this one on your +3, it actually boosts it up to 24 degrees Celsius. So yeah, you can adjust that though. It is set 2 degrees out. It used to be 3 degrees, so I'll put that to 3 degrees. Next one. This is the so if it loses connection mode, you can have that enabled or disabled. So what the lose connection mode means is your relay box, if the thermostat loses connection with the relay box, instead of your house freezing, this will start coming on for a part load. So it will automatically start coming on for a part load to stop your house freezing. But it will, I believe it flashes on here when it does lose communication mode, but that's what that one means. I forgot what it meant there for a second, but yeah, so the LC means, let me get back to it. Ooh. LC, so basically if it loses connection, okay? So you can have that on or off. And then you've got your frost, your frost protection, so you can have that on and off as well, okay? And then you're out of the menu. So that is all the parameter menus and what they mean. And then if we go into here, so if you press the button, so you've got eco mode here. Okay, so you can put eco mode on or off. Okay, so this is on. So this is just normal regular mode. That's, oh, hang on a minute. So, oh, hang on. Right, so eco mode. So if you want to put eco mode on, you can tell it how long you want your eco mode on, which can also be your boost, but you can tell it how long you want it on for. And then you can actually turn the thermostat off, okay? And then you've got your heating and cooling selection. So if you want the thermostat to do heating, you can do that. If you want it to do cooling, you can do that. But that's that menu I showed you before in the parameters. If you put the heating and cooling on, you can actually select between heating or cooling. So the difference between heating and cooling, when you have it on heating, and you set 18 degrees, the relay box will stay on until you hit that you hit a temperature that's 18 degrees or higher. It will stay on. Okay. In cooling mode, so if I just do that again, so if I put it to cooling mode, okay, what happens in cooling mode is that if you set 18 degrees to cool to, the relay box will stay on until it goes under 18 degrees. So rather than going over 18 degrees, once it comes under 18 degrees, then the relay box turns off, okay? And that's how cooling appliances work. So that's your cooling function. So like I said, let me just let that flash out, like so. And then if we press the middle button again, we'll just go through. We'll go to HC. I'll just put it back into heating mode. So I just press that, press the change between heating and cooling and put it back in heating mode. Okay. And then, like I said, your eco functions here, or you can turn the thermostat off. Okay. But on is generally where it needs to be. And then you set your thermostat temperature. Okay. This is not a programmable thermostat. Okay, so it's not programmable, it's not capable, it's just a thermostat, exactly the same as these guys were thermostats, okay? This is just a programmable, it's just a non-programmable thermostat. So you can't set times on this, you can't set scheduling, it's just literally a thermostat. What I'll do next is I will show you how to pair to the other relay box. Okay, so we're going to clear the binding on the relay box and the thermostat, and then we're going to bind it to the other receiver, okay? So if you've got this other receiver, this one here, drag it across, this Honeywell home receiver, which is the Ramesses 2 receiver. I'm going to show you how to pair this to this thermostat. So this relay box to this thermostat, okay? So first of all, we need to clear this one. So if you press and hold the button on here, for 15 seconds. So as per normal, you get the slow flash 5 seconds, and then you get the fast flash that tells you it's been reset at the 15-second mark. Like so. So that's done. Okay, on the thermostat, we're going to press and hold the button. Then we're going to go to RF, press the button. We're going to go across to clear, press the button. Okay, and that will clear the memory between this thermostat and that relay box. Okay, so that's all cleared now. So what we need to do, we need to put this relay box into bind mode. So once you've cleared it, so you clear it by pressing and holding the button until the little pin button, until you get the yellow light flash like that. Once you get the light flashing like that, then to put it into pairing mode, you have to press and hold the button until they flash like that, and then you let go, and then that will carry on flashing, okay? Just go back to this, so press and hold the button if the menu goes off. Unfortunately, it does keep going off very quickly, which is a bit annoying on this thermostat, to be honest. So go back into RF menu, and then again, we want to go to BO, okay? So again, make sure this thermostat is a good meter away from the relay box that you're trying to pair. So this is flashing yellow, that's on boiler. I'm going to press the button once. So you can see on that, so you get the RF display come up, you get the number 1 flash, and on this, we now get a green light, okay? So you get a green light at the top telling you that it's been paired, okay? And then this is then the light that comes on when you've got demand. So unlike this one where you get no lights, on this one you actually get a green light, okay? Let me just show you that. So if I put this thermostat right the way up to like 25 degrees, like so, and then let that temperature go in, like so. On this relay box here, you'll see the green light come on that button, like so. And then if we do the opposite, so we put that on, we press and hold the button on the minus just to get it all the way back down. So it's about 21 in this room. So if I set it down to like 15 or so and let that thermostat then just add that temperature in. And then again, just look on the relay box, you'll see this go off like so. There you go. So I hope this video has been informative. I'm sorry it's been quite long, but obviously I wanted to explain everything and make sure everything was understood. If you have any questions about the thermostat at all, please ask, but hopefully I've covered everything. Like I said, it is just a basic thermostat, so it isn't a programmable thermostat or anything like that. The DT4R is a basic thermostat. Okay, if you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to our channel. I do try and do as many videos as I can. Unfortunately, I have had some ill health of recent times, so I haven't done as many videos as I would have liked. But if you've liked the video and it's helped you out, please comment on the video or give us a thumbs up or like and subscribe to our channel. I've been Rich. Thanks very much for watching my video. I'll see you on the next one.